the donation. So we just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of the things that have come out in the past year. So donations, cloud events, some of the new payment gateway and so on. So I sort of have like a little presentation just to bring everybody up to speed on the enhancements that they can go and use today. And then we can switch to the future and what Nova is all about. I know there's been some concerns as well about, is this going to change the way we do things? Is this going to be a new learning curve for all our members? And I just wanted to allay some of those fears and just say, no, it's just a nice upgrade. It's very technological in nature, but also very much like a friendlier user interface. But for the most part, it's really still Clubrunner, right? So, and hopefully we can do a little bit of a demo just so people can get a little bit of a sneak preview and what that all entails.
Great. So is this Clubrunner training, is it the one that is purchased, or it's all Clubrunner all across?
It's
because there's some that you purchase.
Yeah. So the district version, which is what everybody uses, is also going to be upgraded. That's coming a little bit later on.
Okay.
Our first priority is the clubs. And so it's, I guess, it's not really a training session per se. Like I'll just kind of walk through some of the things, but it's we're going to be having more in-depth training in a couple of months when it's ready for clubs to actually switch to.
Okay, great. Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. I just thought I'd come in early just to make sure that the share would work. So I just want to do a quick test if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead. I made you a co-host.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then I'm sure we're all set. I'll just I know if in a few minutes early, so I don't know if we want to wait.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll start right at 9. So.
Okay, perfect. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any
questions? Haley, my question for you, you stated right now that this is the district has its own, and then the one that we're gonna be learning, is this the national one or for the club run?
This would just be the club version right now that would be the first to get the upgrade, but then the district one would follow, and that's more for your district. My Rotary, which is what you log into at rotary.org, that's not Clubrunner, that's run by Rotary International, and it's sort of totally unrelated, but the database does integrate, and that's actually one of the things I'm going to be talking about is some updates we've done to the integration. Which actually is going to make things a lot easier for clubs. Because before, we used to tell people you must make the changes in Clubrunner only. It only goes one way from Clubrunner to RI, but then now it works both ways. So you don't need to worry about somebody going directly into RI, making changes to their profile, and not receiving them in Clubrunner.
Okay, now I understand it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Debbie.
Good morning.
Robert.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Andy.
We have Haley from Clubrunner, and she is going to be telling us. She'll start right at 9. So we still have 5 minutes. So if anybody has any question, do let us know. Or do Haley know, because she is the pro at it.
I wouldn't say I'm the pro. We have much better people that know the intricacies. But yeah, I'll do my best.
And Andy, Haley and Andres Zamaripa, you'll see on the screen, he's our tech support for the district side. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Hi, Haley. So yeah, I do the IT coordinating and IT support for the whole district. And I did want to ask, is the whole environment going to change, or is there just going to be a couple of updates? How's that? Is it going to make it look different?
Yes.
Yeah. Everything will be different.
It will be different. So just from a technical perspective, I'm sure you'll appreciate that. It's a whole new framework and database around. So, but some of the modules are still going to be referencing the existing, because we didn't want to wait to get everything upgraded. But so think of it as like we're moving into a new house, a lot of furniture you're bringing from the old, but the walls and the foundation and the door that you walk through, it's all brand new. So yeah, we're really excited about it. And as I said, a lot of clubs are like nervous about that, but we wanted to make sure everyone feels comfortable that it's going to still feel very familiar. And in fact, we hope it's going to be feeling easier to use and friendlier.
Great to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Tricia. Good morning, Paul.
Morning.
Good morning,
Morning,
Lucy.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Still have 3 more minutes. So if anybody has any question, please go ahead. This is like the social time right now.
Or if anyone has a good joke, no.
I started a joke in my meeting. I was talking about how Rotarian, we always like to give 100%, except when we donate blood.
Good one.
Yeah. Hello there, Suzelle. How are you?
Good morning. Looks
Good
like my face is a
morning.
little dark today, but my lighting doing good. Thank you. How's everyone?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Good.
Well, you should see my face at my office with all those windows. I look white as a ghost. So I got a little color here with the home light.
Hello there, Al and Robert and Cynthia.
Hi.
Hello there. We have Haley. Haley, I'm pronouncing your name correct, right? Just want to
Hallie, yeah, close, very close, yeah.
from Clubrunner, and she's going to be the one going to start the program at 9 o'clock, telling us all about the new Clubrunner Nova. That's going to be introduced. You have already introduced that, or it's going to be coming up in fall?
So we're actually very close to opening up the sandbox for our beta tester. So actually, if you are not part of the beta tester group, I'm gonna share a link here. Actually, I can do that right now in the chat while I have a minute. But that would be if you're very interested in sort of being one of the first to log in and give feedback. The group is probably about 650 people. So we're always looking for more. And that's where we're going to first announce it. But eventually it will be before the end of this calendar year that clubs can actually switch. We're trying to do it as soon as possible, but obviously you want to make sure everything works well.
Wonderful.
So yeah, I added it to the chat so you can see that there. And actually, maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully, we will see the slide view.
This is Debbie. How does the integration with DACDB interface with Clubrunner? So we do have our largest club in our district who's DACDB. And so if they don't enter the information, since our district is Clubrunner, then we don't have access to those members. Do you know, I mean, has there been some progress made for those two platforms to talk a little bit together?
Yeah, so actually that's a really exciting part about the TrueSync, the two-way synchronization that we developed. It was done about a year ago, but we basically enabled it for all clubs automatically. But I'll touch on that, but that's a really good point. Actually, I'll just mention, so all you need to ask your clubs to do is go into Rotary International and where they define who they authorize their vendors, which vendors are allowed to read and write. Just ask them to add Clubrunner as a secondary vendor who's allowed to read their data. And once they do that in your district, you can set them up and then you'll receive all of the updates into your district site. So I can actually have somebody from our support team reach out to you and send you like the step-by-step instructions that you can send to that club.
That would be great. And Suzelle's here, so as assistant governor for him, but also with that club. So I'm sure she'd be excited about that too.
Yeah, I'll just make a note.
Because we'll periodically get like, well, how come I don't get the newsletter? Well, yeah,
No,
they're not in the system. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Debbie. Appreciate it.
yeah. So.
Perfect.
And it was a lot of work for them to have to manually enter every,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if the people didn't do it themselves, right? If the members
Yeah.
didn't do it themselves, so.
Yeah, no, it works really well, and that's definitely something we will want to help you get them set up with.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Awesome. I still see a couple more people entering the room. I'll wait for
start
Steve.
if you
Sarah,
want.
you let me know when you want me to go ahead and start.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead and start because we are 9:01. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome everybody. If you just joined recently, I'm Hallie Asterbady. I'm one of the co-founders of Clubrunner, which we started 20 years ago. And I'm really excited to meet with you guys this morning to do a couple of things. Number one, just share with you some of the recent updates over the past year that you already have, that you have available to you today that you may not be aware of, but also share what's coming with our new version. So you may have heard about Clubrunner Nova. It's our brand new, it's a really big update, probably the biggest update we've had in like 15 years. And, you know, I wanted to just share a little bit more about that so that, you know, you can rest assured that it's not going to disrupt your club or your members, or you're not going to have to relearn everything. But we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'll start with some of the recent updates. And I'm going to be running through all of these. I'll try to work as quickly as possible. Now, if you do have questions, maybe what we can do is I'll stop after each section, maybe ask if there's any questions that are there, and then that way we can get through it. So the first thing I want to touch on is the mobile app, and I'm not sure if this is something that you're aware of is available to all of your members. So it doesn't matter if your club's a subscriber, but by virtue of your district being a subscriber, you have access, all of your members have access to the mobile app. And one of the recent features is message broadcasts. So if you wanted to send out a push notification, so this is kind of an app-to-app message, you can do that. And we're not intending this to replace email, but what we found is sometimes there's a need just to send a really quick reminder, or like, hey, don't forget our meetings venues changed tomorrow, or anything like that. So it's available both for the club and the district. And the only caveat to this is that the person has to have the mobile app installed on their phone. So we're also recommending, you know, to, spend a couple of minutes, maybe in one of your next meetings, talk to your members, help them find the app and get it installed and get them logged in, because there is a lot that they can do with it.
Is the app on the App Store?
It is. So if you search Clubrunner, one word, you should be able to find it. It's on the Apple Store as well as the Google Play. And one of the things that members can also do is edit their profiles. So, you know, it's like, this is a really easy way for them to see, is my photo up to date? They can go ahead and update it right in the app. They can make changes to their contact information. And all of this goes right into the district's database. It will then integrate with RI just as if you had just made the change, you know, by logging into the website. But if you are an AG or if you're an officer, you can still make those changes on behalf of those members, just as if when you were logged in. We also updated the navigation menu because we found a lot of members weren't really aware that there were more options by clicking on the three kind of horizontal lines in the corner, in the top corner. So, you know, we added that menu icon at the bottom, but you'll see there is a lot that you can do, including looking at your club directory, looking up, searching members in the district. So if you're looking for somebody and you don't remember which club they're from, you just want to type the first few letters of their first name or last name, you can hit search, and then that will take you directly to their profile. There's also, you know, you can access your club stories. You can look at a listing of all clubs and then see who their officers are and so on. So there's basically like a little district directory booklet right in your phone.
So it's requiring me to have a username and a password. This is my first time to
Okay.
Clubrunner.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So by virtue of being listed in the district's database, you have a login and a password. So the best thing to do is go ahead and hit the request my password link or reset my password. and it's going to prompt you for your email address. Now it has to be the same email address you have listed in your profile. So wherever you're getting emails from your district governor and your AG and all of that. And then you check your inbox for the instructions from that point. So, and then that's going to help you reset your password. That would be the same one you use in the mobile app, or if you wanted to go ahead and log in to your website. So another new feature we added is the all events listing. So if you're just curious what's happening all around the district, whether it's a district event or the club events around the area, you can go to one listing and it'll kind of show to you by month. You can click through, see all of the details. If there's a location, there's a link. If it's your club and registration is enabled, you'll see the registration button. So really trying to make it easy for everyone to find out what's happening across the district. And
is the calendar active, Haley? Because I'm in it and it says no event to display during this date range. And I have it set from today through 2025 to 20.
So if it's the first time you logged in, you may need to click on, see this icon at the very top right. That's like a reload or refresh icon. Try to hit that and maybe just give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah, because I'm in it and I see all of them.
Okay.
I'm looking at it on my phone now, and I have actually, as the 26th, our district governor will be in Victoria visiting with our downtown club.
So you may need to also pull down on the page, Luis, and then maybe just give it a minute to load. If it was the first time you logged in.
No, I've been logged in for a while.
Okay. I will have someone reach out to you and help you troubleshoot that.
Got it.
I'm just going to write down your name, and then that way we can follow up.
So
with you.
a question is, if the club itself does not have Clubrunner, can they still see these things because
They
the
can still
district
see
has
these
the
things.
Clubrunner version?
Yes. So this is available as part of your district. Now there may be some things that aren't populated, like your club stories. You're not going to have that, or your club events, but you're going to see other club events, all the district events. But you should see the entire district directory. So your officers, all club officers, and all member profiles. So the other new feature we added is foundation recognition. Now this is a little bit finicky because it's a newer feature, and it does require a few things to be in place, like your RI member ID. And this is something that definitely will improve over time. But if everything is set up accurately in your profile, you should be able to pull that data. And if you go to foundation recognition, it's gonna just pull it in real time from the RI database. So we're not storing this information in Clubrunner. So you can see what your Paul Harris Fellow level is, how many points you have, what was your total contributions. And then if you're following, if you want to make sure your annual contribution levels are up to date, you can also check on that. And then at the very bottom, obviously there's a nice link to donate to the foundation. That's always going to be there. Now, just a point, you can only view your own information. So other administrators or district staff or ADs can't pull this information other than going to the RI system. But this is just something we added to the app just to make it a little bit easier for members to check on that. Okay. Any other questions on the app? Oh, I think you're muted, Doug. I thought you were speaking. Okay, that's fine. I'll move on. Maybe we'll still have Q&A at the end, so hold on to that thought. So another nice thing about the new features that we've added recently to both the club and the district versions is e-commerce. And this is available today. So this is something, it's not necessarily, you don't have to wait for Nova or the next version or anything like that. Even though they are built on the newer technologies, they're available today. And the first one is the donations module. And this is part of all club and district packages. It's part of our standard modules. What it allows you to do is set up your own donation campaign. So this is not related to foundation or anything to do with RI. This is your own local fundraising. And what you can do is set up different campaigns and allow the general public or members to be able to contribute and make a a credit card payment on the website. You have some options, like you can ask for comments. So, if there's something you want them to fill in, you could put in a description and ask them to put something into the comments. You can show how much was raised so far for that one campaign. This is an option you can switch on or off, as well as how many donors have contributed. And when you're in the back end, like when you're logged in, you can see a lot of information on how much was donated, what were the donations like over the course of a time frame, and what were the largest contributions, as well as actually keeping a list of all of the people who donated, whether they're a member or the general public. You'll be able to see this information, export it. You can send an email. So if you want to send a follow-up email, say, hey, here's some photos for, this project that we just, that you just contributed to, so you can see your impact. You can even create your own custom thank you email template. So as soon as they make a donation, it would just go out automatically, and it could be different per campaign. So this is available today on the club and the district versions, and clubs all over are using it, and it's it's working really great. So I encourage you all to take advantage. Any questions about the donations module? Okay. So the other e-commerce feature that I want to bring your attention to is cloud events. And I'm not sure how many clubs here have already set up an event using cloud events. If you have, that would be great. Please make a note in the chat. I would love to know what you all have done. But what this is this is on the Nova framework. So you could see that it's more modern, and there's a lot more functionality than Event Planner. So you can have multiple ticket types with different price points. You can sell products. You can ask for optional donations. And then you can also have a form where you can collect additional information. So, select a choice, enter, some text. Really, it's very, very flexible. And then, of course, you get a lot of really good statistics. You can export the data. You can send emails, very similar to what you may have been using My Event Runner for. And if you have been using My Event Runner, just be aware that that's eventually going to be phased out, as it is being replaced by cloud events. It's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to be about a year from now, but it's always good to have that advance notice and start to think about using cloud events instead. And some examples of what clubs have already done with cloud events is a flag program. So this is the Bryan Rotary Club, and they use cloud events to sell their flag program. So they have two options. Once you select how many you want in the next screen, they ask all of the questions. If it's in memoriam, what are the details? Please select these options. They have upsells and additional things. So it's really it's always nice to see how clubs are using it. It's not always how we intended, but hey, if it works, go for it. And the other example here is Rotary Club of Sparks in California is using it for their poker tournament. So they're selling tickets. You can sell an individual ticket. You can sell a whole table of 5, I believe they set it up as. You can add drink tickets. You can sell T-shirts. And then at the very end, if they want to say, would you like to add an extra donation? And all of this is tracked. And you can pull reports on ticket type, on product. So if something changes, if you need to send somebody an additional email based on everybody who bought this type of ticket or this type of product, it's very easy to do so. So I encourage you all to take a look. It's part of all club and district packages. It's not an extra fee. There's no per registration fees or anything like that to use cloud events or donations. Any questions?
I have one. So we're linking these links go directly, or we set it up to go to our club bank account.
Yes. So the way that works is actually that's a really good segue to my next slide. So we have started integrating more payment providers into the newer modules. So you can set up PayPal accounts or even Stripe accounts. You can still continue to use Paya as well. But the nice thing is you don't have to have one account for all of your club business. You could spin up a separate PayPal account, for example, and attach that one to a specific event or a specific campaign. So you really have that flexibility, because some clubs might want to have a separate account for anything to do with donations. They might want to track it differently versus club operations. So you would just need to sign up for one of these accounts. At this time, you do need to let our customer support team know so that we can add it to your account, but we're working on some self-serve so that you can just log in, add the account details, and then it's ready to go, and you can start to connect it to your events and campaigns.
So if we already have one of these accounts, it's just a matter of linking it up properly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Any folks who had the app in the phone for a while, there was an update. That was the issue at my end.
Oh, that was the issue. I should have thought of that. Thank you, Louise. See, this is why I'm not really the best technical support person. We have great people that would probably have thought of that first. Awesome. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's new payment providers that we're really excited to have, and we're continuing to look at adding more. Another module, so it's not really e-commerce related, but it's something that's been around for a couple of years now, but we've just noticed not as many clubs are necessarily taking advantage, is our membership success. So what this is a prospects tool for you to manage people that are interested in your club. So maybe you've got people that came to an event, a membership drive, or someone brought a colleague or a friend to a meeting, and you really just want to track these people a little bit better so that you can send them communications, continue to make them aware of what's happening, and eventually get them to join. So, and this is part of the club version, so standard and light. It's not available for districts as of yet, but we're going to be making some improvements once Nova is out, just to allow districts to help clubs and be able to see that information. But the way that these prospects get added into the system is through two forms, a public inquiry form, which you can add to your homepage. And we always recommend a button on the menu, like join our club, or interested in joining, or whatever, however you like to do it. And they would fill in this information, and it would start the campaign. So you can set up email templates, and you can decide what is the thing that you want to send to them as soon as they fill it out. And you can have a whole process where someone calls them, and then you can have more emails going kind of on a weekly or monthly, or whatever basis you prefer. But you have a whole record for them, and you have a notes section. So as you're speaking to them, you can make notes, and it just helps the whole club kind of have a better idea of what's happening with these prospects. I think, obviously you have to be an officer and administrator to access these prospects, but everyone can, the board can kind of look at the information. It's not sitting with one or two people. And you can include them as well on your bulletin, or however you want to handle your prospects. So that was the public inquiry form. And then very similarly, you can have members refer other people. So this would be a form that's only available for members, and they would fill in their information. You will know that they were referred by this person, and you can have a very similar process, however you want to handle the prospects. Any questions there?
Not about that, but adequate. You may have said this before, and I was trying to update the app, so I may have missed it. On the previous topic, the topic of the PayPal and other donations, for that function, the club has to have their own club runner. Is that right? Because I don't see it at my end, and we don't have our own. Our club doesn't.
Yes, so the e-commerce, so the cloud events and the donations are on the club version, and district also has it. So district has it on their version. So And it's up to your district how they want to handle that, if they want to open it up for clubs, but we just find that it's so much easier to be able to manage it, have better control as a club if you have that in your own system.
How do we get information about pricing for clubs?
Yeah, so everything is up on our website. If you go to clubrunner.com, but what I can do is I can have someone follow up with you, Luis, and we can send you the details. But what we offer is a free 30-day trial. You just have to fill out the form on the website. We'll send you login credentials, and you can kind of experiment and decide, and there's no obligation.
So I know we've been talking about it for about 2 years, so it's time to do something about it.
Third year is a charm.
In our club, right?
And is there still a little bit of a discount because of the fact that our district has Clubrunner for clubs? There was when we first started, I know.
We can definitely work on a promotion for your district. So what I'll do, Debbie, and maybe I'll work with DG Sarah on this, and we'll work on a promotion and send the details over to you, and then you can distribute that to any club who hasn't subscribed yet can get a little bit of an incentive.
If we go to clubrunner.com, can we tell whether we're whether we're already signed up or not? Because I don't know if our club is.
There is a way to know. If you go to on your district website, wherever you have the club listing, we kind of show that. But the other way to do it is if you try to log in through the Clubrunner website, and this is our universal login, is you can like when you log in, it will then redirect you to options, and you'll see if you only have a district version, you'll see proceed to district. But if you have a district and club, you will see 2 options to kind of proceed, and that's another way to find out. But I can find out for you and let you know, or maybe we can have a report that we can share.
We are members, Doak.
Are we? Okay. All right.
North Harlingen. Okay.
But I wasn't able to get the app to work because it said it didn't recognize me as a member.
You should be in there. That would be, yeah. By virtue of being a member of the district, you have to have a login account.
It didn't allow me to. It gave me a message when I said send an email, and it gives me a message, could not find member information.
Okay.
Doak, I can check for you, Doak.
Yeah, we can sort that out.
I'm looking at it now, and it's not showing that North Harlingen has a club. It just has district website. I'm on my app, and it just brings up district website.
Okay. Okay, so we'll definitely get you all sorted out there. And we can find that information as well. We're happy to, and I'll share how to get in touch with us as well at the end of this presentation, because we are here, we're available to help you. And, you know, if you ever needed to, if you ever have any questions as well. So moving on to email link tracking. So this is something that is pretty new as well. You don't have to have this switched on if you don't want, but you could. And what it is if you ever send emails and you're not really sure what is really, what are people engaging with, what is interesting to people, what are they not interested in, you can enable this. And what happens is for every link that is in your bulletin or your email, Clubrunner will track how many unique clicks as well as total clicks they received. And you can even see who clicked on it. So this is a really nice way to know what is resonating with people. As I said, it's not something you have to enable, but if you wanted to, you could have that. And that's part of our regular club subscription. So this is the universal login screen that we were just talking about. So one of the challenges we always face is members struggling to log in. So don't feel bad that you can't figure out how to log in, because what you had to do before is you have to find your district site or your club site and then go to the login button on there. Well, if you're not really sure where to go, you could always go to our website, clubrunner.com, and hit the login button there. And this is just like a universal page. You can try to reset your password here, or you can log in. And then this is the next screen I was referring to. So if you have a club version, it will show you, as that you can proceed to club as an option, district, and then zone if your zone is a subscriber. So you'll know exactly where you have an account and how to get into it.
Ellie,
Yeah.
there is a question in the chat. Thank you, Edie. It looks like somebody's asking about the transition fee for PayPal.
So there's no fee. Yeah, sorry, I apologize. I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm going to have this open here on my other screen. So there's no fee charged by Clubrunner to enable PayPal or Stripe. The fees that would be deducted would be from PayPal's end. And I'm sure they have it all listed on the website because it really depends on the country and all of that stuff. And it's probably something like 2.5%, but don't quote me on it. It's and plus, 30 cents. Stripe, I believe, is similar, maybe 2.9%, but we don't get involved in any of that. So you would just kind of set up your account on PayPal and then we would connect it into Clubrunner for you.
The last time I checked on these, Stripe really had the best rate for here in Texas, at least. I understand it changes from place to place, but yeah, Stripe seemed to have the best one here in Texas, whatever that's worth.
Yeah, and the reason we also added Stripe is because you don't have to be redirected away from Clubrunner into another website and then redirected back, which can be a little bit confusing. We've had some issues with folks that work at banks that it just the website wouldn't behave properly for them, just with firewalls and stuff. Whereas Stripe is purely it's a direct connection, and you stay on the registration page, and it's very, very user friendly. Awesome. Okay, so we'll move on to Rotary database integration, and I'm glad that I was able to answer the question to start, but I'll rephrase it here just so everybody else can also understand. So Clubrunner introduced RI integration in 2010, so it's been around for a long time, and obviously there's been enhancements throughout the time, but it was basically new members, member updates, club officer updates, and club information updates like meeting location and so on. And traditionally, you had to make the change in Clubrunner, and this is what we've always trained secretaries on. So you got to make the change in Clubrunner so that integration can send it to RI. Well, we introduced TrueSync about a year ago, and what that is if a change happens to be done at Rotary, maybe the secretary forgot or the member went in themselves and made a change to their email address or whatever it was. If the change is done in RI, that will then now sync back to Clubrunner. So now it's a two-way synchronization. So we opened it up last year, and we basically said, oh, you can opt in as a club because it's part of your settings on Clubrunner, whether you want to have this or not. And of course, a very small percentage of clubs actually switched it on. But as we were speaking to more and more districts, they were like, why wouldn't you want to enable this? And so we said, yeah, good point. So in one of the recent communications, I believe it was in June, when we sent kind of a reminder twice a year just to let everyone make sure that your billing is going to come from RI, make sure you check the RI database because that's what it's based on. We added a note in there saying, oh, and by the way, we're going to enable TrueSync on July 15th. If you don't want to opt in, please reply and let us know. And out of the thousands of clubs that went to, only 2 clubs said that they didn't want it enabled. So I think that was a good move. So this should be enabled by default. And now if any members are added at RI or any of those changes mentioned, that's going to synchronize back to Clubrunner. But I wanted to make a mention about the secondary integration. This is a really good point. If your club, or if there's a club in the district that is using another provider, maybe they're using DACDB or they're using another tool, and as long as they also integrate with RI, you can still receive the updates for that club by asking them to go to the RI settings on My Rotary and add Clubrunner as a secondary read-only vendor. And all that they're doing there is now they have a primary vendor to send updates, but they can add a secondary vendor who's allowed to read the data back. And as long as they do that and TrueSync is on, whenever changes happen to RI, whether directly or whether through their alternate system, Clubrunner is going to receive those updates and keep your district's database up to date. So that's a really important note to keep track of. It's probably something, and we're happy to share instructions. And Debbie, I'll send you the instructions to send to your club. But again, happy to help any club who needs assistance setting that up. So just a note about these settings. So the screen you see on the left here, these are the integration settings of your club on Clubrunner. So you can decide as a club what data to share with Rotary and also what data you want to receive from Rotary. So member additions, terminations, information updates. The officer changes take place regardless of the settings because it's not anything to do with personal information. But you can, it's always a good idea to check these settings and make sure that you're sharing as much as possible. And then a note about member privacy. So at Clubrunner, we take privacy very seriously. Even if the club opted into all of the settings, if they want to share, you know, birthdays and all the phone numbers and all the addresses and whatever. If you've got one or two members that are very conscious of their privacy, to say, well, you know what, I don't share this information with anybody. I don't want to send that info out. You can still override these settings on a per member basis. You can say, okay, not a problem. So that's the screen here on the right. So in this particular member said, you know what, don't share my home phone. So, you know, you can kind of satisfy both sides without having to force the club to uncheck that particular field. So just checking the questions here. So who else has access, if any, to the club setting besides the club officers? So these club settings, they can be viewed by the district. They can't be changed if the club has their own club version. But if they don't, they can be modified on behalf of the club through the district version. And then I missed a question. What is the difference between the Nova version versus the Clubrunner from the district version? So Nova is just a general update to Clubrunner as a whole. It's going to impact club and district, but the first version that's going to be upgraded is club, and then district's going to come a little bit later. And we're looking at kind of this last quarter of 2024, so kind of the fall for club, and then the spring for the district next year, 2025.
It seems someone turned off the chat. So you can't ask questions through the chat anymore.
Oh,
it's turned off by host.
Oh, I think it's still open.
Well, I was going to say thank you, and
no, the chat is still open.
I just tested it. It's working on my end.
Okay, it's back on.
I think I just tried changing the participant can chat with. It was no one. Yeah, I changed it to meeting group chat and anyone directly. I didn't touch anything, so I don't know what happened, but I'm glad that
you're good. Yeah, I think it was on. Yeah, okay. It is on.
It's on now. Yes, thank you.
Yes, testing to ask a question received. Awesome. All right. Any other questions about integration?
I have a question.
Yes, Arlene.
Okay, so when I was trying to, sometimes when you enter a member and there is a problem, there's an error or something, and you're trying to integrate, and you find out after the 30 days, because you can enter a member within that 30-day period that came into the club for the first time. After that 30 days, you're not able to change that date. So how can you get that corrected?
That's a very common question actually our team received. So there are a lot of rules that RI has set on their database. So one of those is, like you mentioned, if you try to add a member with a join date earlier than 30 days from that date you're actually making the change, they'll reject it. So we're actually working on helping work around that. But I think what our team recommends is go ahead and add them with the join date of, you know, today or whatever, you know, whatever date that satisfies the 30-day rule so that they can get in. And then you can always go in and change the join date on Clubrunner, and then that will transmit to RI. So it's a little bit of a workaround that doesn't make sense. And that's why we're going to try to do that a little bit easier, but there should be a way to get around it. And, you know, there are a few times where things can go wrong. And this is why there's the member updates archive. So I encourage you to explore that, because you can see all the changes that were attempted to be made. You can see if they were successful or not. And if they weren't, what the reasoning was. And our team is very happy to help you troubleshoot some of these things and kind of help you kind of figure out what's causing them. Sometimes it's a missing RI member number, or just something could be a little bit off. And we do this every day, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thanks. And how did you say about changing that date? How do we do that?
So what I can do is I can send you some step-by-steps if you like, Darlene.
Okay.
I'm gonna write down your information here, but essentially you're basically bypassing it and kind of saying, like, you know what, the join date is just today, and then let them get added and then go back into their profile. You'll see their join date under the Rotary tab, and then just go ahead and change it to the actual date.
Okay.
And that will get through. But don't quote me on this. I think the experts will give me the step-by-step instructions, and I'll be happy to pass them over to you.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions on integration? I know this is always a big topic. All right. And then the last update I wanted to share is membership action plan. And this is something that we recently opened up and connected at both the club and the district versions. It's available to any club or district officer who wants to take advantage of these tools. And this is something that was created independently by Rotarian Terry Weaver in Zone 33. And they worked with RI to get a lot of the historical data on, you know, your basically how members have joined and left your club. And there's some really neat statistics and metrics you could use. You can put in what your goals are. It shows you what your attrition rate has been, what you really have to do in order to meet those goals, and it's available to you. So I believe we have it listed under the reports tab. So go ahead and take a look. And what we've done is integrated so that you don't have to log in separately. It'll use you're already logged into Clubrunner, so we'll just sign you right in automatically. Okay, so then going into some product news. So we wanted to make you aware of that we're adding even more value to your club subscription. So if you are a Clubrunner club, this is automatically going to happen for you. If you're not a club subscriber, even more reasons to look into it. But we talked about cloud events, and this is now, it was in beta for a while, and now it's officially generally available. And there's no costs. If you were using My Event Runner, that will eventually be retired sometime next year. So we're encouraging everyone to use cloud events, and there are no per registration fees. We're also going to phase away enhanced modules. So in the current version of Clubrunner, if you wanted to enhance committees to do extra functionality, or you want to do more with the volunteers, or you wanted to have a barcode scanner for your attendance, all of these were upgrades. And in Nova, we're making it a lot simpler. You're getting the club version, and if you have access to a module, you have access to it. And we're not going to be having all these different varying add-ons. Also, and this is partially thanks to upgraded technology and infrastructure, we're going to be lifting a lot of the package limits. And a lot of these really relate to email credits, the document storage, the number of contacts you can have. You know, we want you to have more contacts and add those prospects and, you know, community members to your Clubrunner site, so you can send them information and have them engage. And that's all going to be replaced by a fair usage policy. And to be honest, it's one of these things that we weren't really monitoring closely. So, you know, if your club was going over with emails or documents, you know, we weren't sending any automatic invoices or anything, but we did have some guidelines in place, and those are going to be going away. And then lastly, and I'll touch on the questions after. So the Clubrunner banner ads are also going to be phased out as of July 1, 2025. Now, this is not the sponsorship ads that you can upload to your site to create some revenue for your club. So that's remaining in place if you want to use it. But these are sort of like the additional little graphic banner ads. And really we're doing this because this was a model that we had when Clubrunner was launched 21 years ago. And, you know, it's no longer effective. And we really wanted to give more control back to the clubs and districts on their website and their bulletins. So I'll move on to what's on the horizon, but first I'll answer some questions. So Robert asked, we have Clubrunner currently, do we pay for that now? Also, the Nova version shows a cost from 21 to 27. Is this an additional cost we need to pay to get what we already have? So I'll address the Nova costs first. So there are no, you know, changes or updates to the pricing. Nova is just a natural, you know, technological upgrade that we're doing. And, you know, eventually everyone's going to have to move on to it. So it's not like an option. So the pricing really is whatever you see on our website, that's going to remain in place. So you may see a difference between pricing based on the number of members that you have in your club, or if you're on the light versus the standard versus the admin only package. And that's all on our website. You could find out our pricing. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Any other questions before we switch to Nova?
Yes.
Yes, Lucy.
Hi. One of our members sent out an email, and she got back a message box on the top that said that there were some emails that needed attention, that they were no longer members of the club. And she was wondering how to go about fixing that.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. So it's not that they were no longer members. She probably saw the message that they were blocked or they didn't receive the message. Yeah. So what happens is if you send an email to through Clubrunner to members, and if there's any problem with that email, so if the email address is incorrect and it bounces back, or their mailbox is full, or they might click this is spam, unsubscribe me, they essentially get added to the blocked list. And you can, in that same message, you should see a link that says review blocked list. It will show you everybody who entered that block list. You can go to their profile, kind of fix their email if you want, or just check if it looks right, then you can then just unblock them. But as soon as another email goes out, if there is a problem again, they will go back on that block list. So it's one of these things that usually the administrator, the club secretary, or your club's IT administrator, whoever you want to allocate can kind of keep tabs on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? Okay. So let's talk about Nova. So this is something we just announced earlier this year, and it is something, it's basically the really big technological upgrade, as I said, but we're actually trying to make things better and easier for everybody. So there's a lot of different focuses. One of them is obviously the user experience. We've heard a lot of people saying that it's not easy to navigate Clubrunner. It's overwhelming, too many options. Our members don't use it. So we really wanted to make things a lot better. And then the mobile app, of course, is another big part of that. So what our goals are, obviously the biggest goals is it's going to be faster. It's going to be easier to navigate. We're also unifying a lot of the areas that grew over time. And what I mean by that is we continue to add more modules and created more silos. So you have your members list, then we added contacts, and then we added processes. So we're really trying to bring everything together and make the things as unified as possible. And then the mobile app is also getting a big overhaul. We're continuing to add the features, but in the background, there is also an update happening. And as I said, nothing is going to change as far as the functionality you have access to. In fact, if anything, you'll have access to more functionality at the same cost. The other area that I want to touch on is financial integration. So in Clubrunner today, you have a dues and billing module, and that's really the only place where you can see a statement for members. But then, you know, they may have paid, they may have financial transactions under events or donations. And in Clubrunner today, it's all kind of siloed. So Nova has one kind of basic finances in the background. anything that happens, any transactions that are happening on Clubrunner go into that, and you'll be able to see much better reporting. You can export, you can filter, you can see what all the finances per member or per type, like events, and really be able to drill down. Also, this new platform will allow us to spin up a lot more workflows and forms. So really the sky's the limit for what new functionality can be added. And more importantly, we can add it on a per district basis. So every district may be a little bit different. You may want to do things a little bit differently. And, you know, Clubrunner up until today was really essentially like a templated system. So we either have it across the board for all subscribers in the same way or not at all. Whereas now we can have a little bit more flexibility. And one of the things that we're really excited about with Nova is automation. And this, again, is going to be an option. It's not something that you have to use, but there's new ways of renewing members now. So you don't have to make the treasurer create all of these batches of invoices every year, send them out. People change what options they want, or if you want to ask them for their, annual contribution, like to the foundation. Now the system can do that for you, and you can have these recurring cycles, which is really exciting because, maybe some clubs want to start to experiment with different membership plans. Maybe you want to come up with a young professional rate that is a little bit cheaper, or maybe you want to do quarterly billing or monthly billing, which wasn't possible before because it just becomes a lot of work for somebody. But if you have a system that can help do that for you, it really expands the possibilities. So as a sneak preview, this is what the system would look like. And this is an example of the menu. So it's no longer the blue menu at the top. It's really just a very simple, clean left-hand menu that can expand. And what you're seeing there is what the member profile will look like. So you'll notice we have tags. And so again, because we're consolidating all people into one record, you can have tags that span contacts, non-members, members, and be able to do things with them, like sending an email, export the data, whatever you'd like to do. There's also going to be a lot more visual dashboards. So this is why donations and cloud events look a little bit different from Clubrunner, because they're already on the Nova framework and they're a little sneak preview, but the rest of the system is going to catch up. So this is an example of looking at your financials as a club, and you can see what the revenue looks like from all of the various types, and you can easily drill down, look at the data, be able to, see what payment statuses are, and be able to export the information. So another thing that we're working on, I wanted to it's always good to give clubs a heads up, is we're working with the RI branding team to improve the Rotary branding on Clubrunner. And what that means is there's a lot of old logos in our image library. They've been used in tens of thousands of web pages over the years, and we're going to be working with them on swapping them out or hiding them or doing whatever it takes to replace, so that clubs don't have to have this burden of making those changes. And we're going to be working with them on more campaigns to move clubs to some of the newer, more modern themes that we've had approval from RI on. And, because whenever we've launched new themes, we can't really update a club site because they may need to kind of move things around and change things. So we're going to be doing more campaigns to help clubs move to these newer themes because, that's just better, branding for the entire organization. And that's going to be in the form of workshops, more training seminars, and we'll be sending out more email communications about that. But as an example of that is new bulletin templates. And these could have imagery, they could have text. And the nice thing is when you want to send out a new bulletin, you can select one of these and then go ahead and make changes. You can also make them into your own template so that it makes it easier for you to use over and over. And as well,
when does it roll out? This alone makes me want it.
Yeah, it's something that we already have today, but we're going to be rolling out more, and we're going to be working with RI to make sure they're vetted, because we obviously want to make sure, we don't want to put something out and then all of a sudden clubs are using it and it's the wrong brand. So this is just giving you a little bit of a preview of that. And then lastly, there are some major updates. You can see the fundamental update being our editor. So whenever you're doing anything that relates to HTML or whether it's for the email or for the website, it's going to be a lot closer to what's more web compliant. And a lot of times we've heard people do things in the editor, but by the time they publish it, it looks different. Well, in this editor, you know, it will show you exactly what it looks like. And then when you're uploading images, a lot of times people try to upload their photo, or they're adding a photo to a story, and it uploads in a, you know, it's rotated, or, you know, it really was too big, or they want to be able to crop it. So we have to train people on how to install, you know, or find like image editor on their computer, open up the image, how to crop it or how to resize it, and then upload it into Clubrunner. So we want to eliminate all of those steps. And so our new image editor will have that functionality built in. So you can just do the changes right in Clubrunner, hit save, and then you're on your way. And I mentioned the beta group earlier, and if you would like to sign up, I think I put it in the chat, but I also have this QR code here that you can also take a look at. But really, it's really critical that we work with our beta users, because that's how we shape the product. And here's that QR code again, but I can post the link of the form. I'll just put it right now into the chat. So, you know, and there is going to be an email coming out as early as next week with access to our sandbox site for Nova, which is the screenshots that you saw. And you'll have a chance to play around with the system, and then we're going to be, you know, asking for feedback, and you'd be able to help us, because the more we get feedback and shape the product, the sooner it can be released to clubs everywhere. And a lot of this feedback we share in our user community. So clubrunnercommunity.com, and I'll just go ahead and put this also in the chat, is where we invite everyone to share ideas, and there's going to be a special area there for the beta group. Yes, and I'm happy to email this PowerPoint, as well as all of the links that we shared in the chat. I'll maybe send it to DG Sarah. You can then transmit it to the rest of the group. And that way, you know, we can spread the word. Okay. And then I did mention a lot of support and resources, as well as contacting our team. So one of the things that I always like to share is our support site. And I'll just punch that in as well. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that, Victor. So I'll put in Clubrunner support as well here. So that's where you can access videos, step-by-step instructions, pretty much anything you want to do on Clubrunner, whether it's the club version or the district version, you can access it there. And that's actually where you can also reach out to our team. You will see the ability to contact, you know, create a new email support ticket, or you can also just phone. So our hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern. But so that's 8 to 4 Central. And this is the information here. So I'll definitely make sure that this is available to everybody. Another way to email us is just support@clubrunner.ca. And I always like to end our meeting with our promise. So, you know, as I said earlier, Clubrunner's been around for 20 years. I probably should count how many conventions we've been to, but here's some photos over the years. And, you know, we're committed as ever to delivering world-class software to Rotary clubs and districts all over the world, backed by excellent customer service. And we're really excited about what the future, the next module, the next upgrade will hold. And I can't wait to get your feedback on it. So thank you very much for attending. And I hope that you learned even just one new thing. And I hope you can come back to your club and encourage everybody to install the mobile app. Maybe try one of the modules for your next fundraiser. Maybe you spin up a donation campaign. Any of these ideas hopefully will spur a little bit of action within your club. So thank you very much for your time today. And I'll also put in my email address if anybody wanted to send me a message, or if you're ever, you know, stuck and you're not sure how to get help. I'm available to everyone if you need me. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, DG Sarah, for inviting me today.
Thank you. Thank you, Haley. Thank you so much. I know whenever I reach out to Clubrunner, they're always there. So thank you for being so supportive to our district and all around. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. That's great feedback.
And thank you too for when you share this PowerPoint and things, if you can get that special pricing that you can share with the clubs. Because I know when we first brought Clubrunner into the district, your organization did that, and that's what allowed a lot of clubs to get onto Clubrunner, which was, any savings we can get, that means it's more money that can go back into our community for service projects. So
absolutely. Yeah.
appreciate that.
So, and then again, we have also Betsy, the webmaster, Adriana, our public image, and then Andy Zamaripa, the tech. So they'll be sharing and putting this information out, because we also have a YouTube channel that whatever recordings we do via Zoom, we post it on our YouTube channel for the district. So that's probably, we'll go that route to post a recording of this meeting today to the YouTube channel, but we'll send the notification to our website, and the PowerPoint, we'll find a way to share the PowerPoint to all the members. So we'll direct all the members to go to the district and retrieve those information from there.
Perfect.
All right. Any other question? Now is the time. All right. And I have one question, Haley, that is it possible to send us what it was before and what's going to be now, like a little cheat sheet that we can share?
Definitely, we can do that. There are a few things that are staying the same for the time being, but as you saw that it's a big shift in the look and feel, and there are new modules replacing some of them, like the events. So yeah, definitely happy to do that. Probably a good idea for us to do regardless. So that I appreciate that feedback.
A little cheat sheet, because it comes in handy when you're struggling and then you look, okay, that's what it was, and now it's being.
No, that's cheat sheets are good. I think nobody has time for hour-long videos and things. Sometimes you're like, okay, give me the end result.
Haley, when Nova's ready, will we get an alert to update the app?
Yeah, so the mobile app is independent of Nova. So while we are reworking that, they won't impact each other right away. So that's going to come after the club version for sure. So Nova on the web is going to be upgraded.
The Nova on the web is what we were discussing.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. No other questions? Wow.
I had another question. And may you please repeat the date? It's the new version is going to take effect again?
So there's no set date right now, because our first phase is going to be opening up the sandbox to the beta testers, which is going to happen as early as next week. We're very excited about that. Based on the feedback, if there's a lot of changes we hear that need to be made, then obviously that'll push it out. But if everything works really well and there's not a lot, it could be another maybe like a few weeks after that clubs can choose to switch to it. And so we're not making the switch for all clubs overnight. It's going to be an opt-in basis initially, and that's probably going to take at least until past the changeover next year. So if a club says we don't want to do anything in this Rotary year, they don't have to. Now that there's a lot of benefit to doing it, but we don't want to pull the rug from under anybody. So we're giving lots of time for clubs to opt in.
Okay, thank you.
How long is the, I say a free trial out there for Clubrunner on the website?
It's a 30-day free trial.
30-day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, you're right at 10. Man, you are punctual, right on time, 9 to 10. So again, she has shared the email address. If anybody has any questions specific to their club that they need to troubleshoot, I know the team will be there to support, but we'll be sharing more information and the recording and the PowerPoint once we receive it, and the special pricing for the Clubrunner. If anybody wants to become a subscribe to the Clubrunner and they're not, we'll share all those information via website and to all the AGs via email as well. So do let us know if there is any question, but if no further question, then we'll just say thank you so much again, Hallie and Club Runner for doing this. It was a very informative, and have a wonderful weekend to everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone for your
Bye,
time.
everybody.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
You too.